So you mentioned the intensive model. Could you tell me a little bit more about what the intensive model entails?
Yes, what I do is I work with a single client for usually an entire week, so 5 days. Sometimes people do less, but it's usually for 5 days. And what I do is I work with them from the morning until the evening. From me, my hours right now are 9:15 to 4:15, and it usually entails like about a 15-minute break in the morning, a 15-minute break in the afternoon, and an hour for lunch. But what I'm able to do in an intensive format is I work with people on the worst things that have ever happened to them. And what I think happens is you can have the absolute best therapist in the world. But if you work in a 50-minute hour, people come in and, in the beginning, they're talking about, I don't know, how bad traffic was, or their cat threw up on the rug, or whatever. And so by the time they get into doing the work, how much time is actually available in a 50-minute session to really do the work? Because when people start working on things with their therapist, then as it gets towards the end of the session, the therapist has to then close them back up, because it's going to be a week before they see their therapist again. And not only do they have to close them back up so that they can handle life again, it's also then there's, okay, someone's going on vacation, or we've got to submit to insurance, or there's things they have to do at the end of the session. So how much actual work is getting done? Maybe a half an hour. Again, even with the best therapist. And if you're working with people with trauma, like there's a lot of times like people's hearts aren't going to feel comfortable like getting into really deep stuff in a half an hour. And so a lot of times you can't really get into traumatic memories in that amount of time. And so what an intensive format does is, because people come to work again on the worst things that have ever happened to them, and we're there for the time that they're there just to work on those things, is that I say hello to them in the morning, but then we work on these things for the entire day. And so usually if a memory needs an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't have to watch the clock. And so people can feel really comfortable in having the space and the time. It's really a luxury to be able to have the time to be able to process whatever comes up. And so I don't know if I've answered your question, but that's part of working in the
Yes,
intensive
thank you.
format.
That does.